topic 2 is agency, and in this video we will cover part 1. At the outset, agency may be defined as the legal relationship whereby one person, the agent, is authorized to act on behalf of another, the principal, in dealings with third parties. As the High Court in International Harvester explained, it is an authority to create legal relations. Similarly, in Patterson versus Maloney, the definition makes clear that an agent has the legal capacity to affect the rights and obligations of the principal. Principals appoint agents to extend their reach. An employee may act as an agent in selling goods, such as a shop assistant. Independent contractors, while acting on their own discretion, may also be agents. For example, an auctioneer is an agent. However, not every employment relationship amounts to agency. A domestic servant is not generally considered an agent. Thus, one must examine the substance of the relationship. A trustee exercises powers for beneficiaries, but that role is distinct from agency. Similarly, distributorship differs from agency. Distributors assume ownership and risk in reselling goods. In International Harvester versus Kerrigan's, the High Court stressed substance over form. Even though a company called itself agents, it was in fact a distributor. Hence, labels do not control. The true nature of the relationship is decisive. As a matter of law, only those with full contractual capacity may appoint an agent. If you can do it personally, you may do it via an agent. If you cannot do it, you cannot delegate it. In Christie versus Parmevan, the High Court held that a minor having a capacity to contract for necessaries may also appoint an agent for that limited purpose. Conversely, an agent need not themselves have full contractual capacity as long as they act on behalf of a competent principal. Agency may be expressly created by deed, writing, or word of mouth. In some jurisdictions, written forms is required where the agent is employed in land or business sales. Although oral appointment may suffice, best practice is to reduce agency agreements to writing for clarity and enforceability. Agency by estoppel arises where a principal by words or conduct holds out another as authorized. If a third party relies and alters their position, the principal is estopped from denying authority. In Povey versus Taylor, silence in the face of invoices amounted to representation. Rama Corporation further clarified the elements such as representation, reliance, and detriment. I highly urge you to read through these case laws for better understanding. Verification allows a principal to improve an act done without authority, rendering it valid ab initio. Certain conditions must be met. The agent must have purported to act for the principal. The principal must exist and have capacity at the time, and ratification must cover the entire contract with full knowledge. In Danish Mercantile versus Beaumont, these principles were applied. Agency may also arise by operation of law. In emergencies, one person may bind another out of necessity. as in Great Northern Railway versus Swafield concerning a stranded horse. Similarly, cohabitation once raised a presumption that a wife could pledge her husband's credit for necessaries. Though modern law restricts this doctrine, the principle is that law may impose agency in compelling circumstances. An agent's authority may be actual, whether express or implied, or apparent, depending on the principal's representations to third parties. Implied authority arises from what is incidental to express authority. Apparent authority arises from holding out, even absent actual authority. In Freeman and Lockyer versus Buckhurst, Kapoor acted as a managing director without formal appointment, yet the board's acquiescence clothed him with apparent authority. Agents owe both contractual and fiduciary duties. They must follow instructions, act personally unless authorized to delegate, and act in good faith. The fiduciary relationship obliges them to avoid conflicts of interest and to disclose personal interest fully. They must not make secret profits, must exercise reasonable care and skill, and must keep the principal's property separate and confidential. Equity enforces these duties to prevent abuse of trust. The fiduciary dimension of agency is highlighted in Hospital Products versus U.S. Surgical, where the High Court distinguished contract from fiduciary duty. In Lindros versus King and in Hertzbury versus Kelly, courts scrutinized conflicts of duty and conflicts of interest. Dargash versus Shirley confirmed that failure to disclose dual agency forfeits commission. The Corporations Act imposes statutory duties against secret profits. In Mitre Investment, an insurance broker failed in duty of care. Similarly, in Havas versus Cornish and Chaudhary versus Prabhakar, the courts reinforced the requirements of skill and diligence. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.